Boo.
Request time.
Paradox, Ghostwriter.
Occasionally, just occasionally, when you spam us enough in the comments, we might just do your idea.
Or just drop it in the right now locked fucking like content recommendation channel on our Discord, and we'll get to it.
Locked by the power of one man. One man.
I'm like, there's too many things in here for us to filter through right now.
One
Thank you guys,
British
but
man.
goddamn.
With the name that rhymes with ook. Okay, anyway.
So, Ghostwriter, Paradox Time.
I like it. It's interesting.
I'm definitely a fan for sure, because when I first a reason why Luke recommended it, so I'm sure, because he's a big fan of Bakuman. Those who don't know, Bakuman was a Shonen Jump manga in Jump that basically was about characters who wanted to write manga, and so this is another type of manga like that.
Mm-hmm. Except the main character is a fucking plagiarizer.
So, first I'm gonna start. First of all, beautiful art, by the way. Holy shit! Like wow. Whew.
Mm-hmm. Look at the goop coming out of the microwave. That's really realistic goop.
So another thing.
That's why you cover your Shonen Jump issue.
Mm-hmm.
One thing.
You never want to find that much goop on your Shonen Jump issue.
Yeah, and one of the things that we talk about on this channel is one thing we like is
goop.
Characters. And I have to say,
Throw me back in the goop.
All right, sorry. Thurman's actually trying to be serious. Go ahead.
The first chapter really
I feel for this kid.
Played on the seriousness. I really liked the character too. Like the emotion I felt for him, like I really felt that shit. Like especially when he was like, "This is my," like he was like, if the words come out of my mouth that I'll give up right now. Like bro, that shit was deep.
Oh, that's real as fuck, man. Like there is sometimes there is moments where it's like I got to keep trying, because the second I stop trying, I'll never try again. Like I totally get that.
And
yeah.
What makes it better too is the fact that this this author knows how to convey emotion very well.
Yep,
like
definitely.
The fact that,
him fucking like breaking into the office to show him the transcript and like falling down the floor, and oh my god.
Like that was the whole like him just saying like if I like, because you can definitely see, right? Like, and one thing that got me too is like, as people who are writers, right? Like this, all of the people who are writing this, who are watching this right now as writers, you guys can confirm for me when you feel me on this, right? Like from what I got from it, the reason why his manga wasn't really getting, like the editor wasn't feeling his manga, because he felt his manga was like too stale or too, I wouldn't say too generic, but there's nothing unique about them, right? Like there's nothing unique about his characters or his setting or his story, like he's seen it a million times, right? And I'm just like, and he was like, if you want to, and my vibes is like, I know at the end he was like, you have no talent, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But in my thing, I feel like he did have the talent per se. It's just that he just didn't have a clear audience of who he wanted to present his manga to. He was like, I want to make a manga for everyone, right? So I honestly feel like if he would have just stuck to like a specific like fan base or like audience, he probably would have made it in.
Well, the editor actually had good advice. He was like, you gotta like, you will never be able to make something that everyone likes. That's impossible. Like literally impossible. Like think about like the stuff we like, and then you try to show it to like your parents, and they're like, "Oh, I hate this kind of shit," or like, and then the stuff they like, you hate that kind of shit. Like it's just, there's no way. And like, so he basically, the vibe I was getting from what the editor was saying was he was writing very like generic shit. Like basically like he was like, you can go to school for like writing a story, but if you follow all the rules you learned, you're just going to write a very generic beat by beat story. You know what I mean? It might be good, like, oh, okay, this is well written, but it's been done a million times before, because you're just writing a cookie cutter good story. You're following all the beats, whereas a good story subverts expectations, surprises people, and typically the manga that we end up loving are ones that like do things that we don't expect. Like Chainsaw Man came out of nowhere, broke all the rules, and people love it. So there really is no rules for writing a good story, and I think his problem was that he was like following the rules too much.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So what I really want to say here is like kind of akin to what you were saying there, is when we go to art class and we go to art school,
Yep.
they teach you this one generic way to do things, and everything
A lot of
has
times
been
they'll scold
done.
people for like using different art styles or
They'll scold you. They'll be like, "No, you can't do this. You have to follow this specific
what art's
pattern.
about."
You have to do this way and only this way." And then you never really get to experiment, leading you down this path of like, well, my art degree is worthless because I was taught to do it this way, and never experiment with what makes me me. There's no individualism in the world of that kind of class, that's schooling. And that's kind of what I would assume manga school is like. It's like, I want you to follow this formula and never break from this formula, because this is what sells volumes back when that teacher was doing the fucking craft.
Mm-hmm.
But now everything's changed.
Art is always evolving. You can't really teach it.
Yeah, because honestly,
And like the editor was recommending, ramp up the sex, ramp up the violence.
Yep.
Do something unique. Do something
Only
only
you can do. And Oda said the same shit, by the way. I don't know if you guys saw, but like one of these like contests that they even talk about in this story. One of these contests. Did you see this, Thurman? One of the contests was happening recently, and and all the authors were giving their advice, and Oda's was like, hey, if you're gonna fucking do this, don't bother doing some shit that's already been done. Only do some shit that I haven't seen before.
And it's crazy too, because going back to like the manga school thing, like you can definitely know that they're probably gonna like use like old school like manga,
like
Dragon Ball Z,
DBZ as fucking examples,
like Naruto, like Inuyasha, like well-known series that like Devilman, like shit like that. Like they're gonna use those type of series as a ground point, because that's basically where you start from.
Mm-hmm.
Like all these series have clearly, they're famous for a reason. Like everyone knows who Go Nagai is, creator of Devilman, Cutie Honey. Everyone knows who the author of Inuyasha is. She made Inuyasha, and she made the Ranma 1.5.
Mm-hmm.
Like everyone knows who Kuri Toriyama is and shit like that. Like these are goats. These are legends. Like people will look up to.
Well, you know what it reminds me of? Our talk on fucking Samurai 8 and Kishimoto's problem. And like how one of the reasons that Samurai 8 didn't really take off is because he was still writing on the rules of like early 2000s shonen, Yeah. And I think that's kind of what this kid was doing. Like he wasn't really doing what you need to do nowadays to really get something new and unique that like throws people off. He was writing based on the rules of like old school shit.
Oh yeah. And see, some people can still pull that off, but like I said in the Samurai 8 video, you're gonna have to ramp things up. Times change, and you wanna. And I believe the year in this manga is 2020. So
yeah, it's right now. It's May 2020.
Yeah. So so he's definitely gonna fucking this is like
he's going up against the Chainsaw Mans and
yeah, you're going up against like One Piece, Chainsaw Man, Black Clover, My Hero. Like you're going up against some heavy hitter shit. Mm-hmm. So if you want to. Especially since Demon Slayer is technically still in there, that's one of the most telling shit right now. If you want to compete with like shit like that, you're gonna have to ramp shit up, right? And so, I kind of felt that emotion that he was having, because like I get that as a writer, he just wants to make a series that everyone loves, and it's a very kid like dream, but I can dig it. You know, like I felt bad for him. I was just like, this guy was just trying to write a story that everyone would love, and he just unfortunately. Life doesn't work that way, So I definitely get it, and so
I like too what he was like the editor. I mean, he was he was kind of portrayed as a douche, but like I mean, he wasn't. I don't think he really was. I think he made some good points. He was like, go for like a cult hit, man. Like stop fucking trying to make, because if you spread yourself too thin, then no one's gonna like it. But if you make something that's just you go purely on your instincts, like look at Invader Zim. Invader Zim is such a good example. That is a show where Jonan Vasquez literally just made whatever the fuck he wanted to make. He didn't fucking listen to anyone. He just made the wackiest, craziest shit that he wanted to make. And when it was airing, it failed and it got axed. But later on, it became one of the most cult hit things. And then he got a Netflix movie and comics, and that was all from just doing something only he could come up with. That is a show. When you watch it, you feel his brain. There's no other show that has that kind of feel, and that's what the editor was trying to push him to do.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Same thing when you read One Piece. Only One Piece has that One Piece feel. Only Chainsaw Man has that Chainsaw Man feel. Yeah.
Only Avatar has that Avatar feel. It's something that you see time and time again across media. Like when you create that unique feeling, it's something that takes the world by storm.
and what makes it even better too is just like, so I think we talked about that enough. So let's deep dive into like the actual manga itself.
Twist, So like, what the fuck?
So question: what do you guys are thinking right now? So okay,
I feel bad for both of them actually. So I feel really bad for the kid because he genuinely thought that he just had like a vivid, lucid dream, and he's like, "Oh, cool, that came from my head. Let's do it." And I get that. I'd probably do the same thing. But then when you find out, oh fuck, I'm plagiarizing, what the fuck do you do at that point? Because now you're locked in. You probably got contracts. Like, literally, like, imagine if he was to just be like, no, I can't do it now. Like you can't do that. You got contracts. You got people that you're working with now. People's careers on the line. Like, that's, like, all this shit. Like, all people that you told, like, oh, I got this successful manga now. So, like, he's stuck. And then you flash over to see the actual writer who's, like, 17 now, just, like, a child still, basically. And she's, like, doing her, like, she's in her fanfic stage. And she's like, that's fucking my series. What the fuck? Like, can you imagine from her perspective? I feel bad for both of them.
Did you read chapter 2?
No, I read, like, 2 pages of it. You guys feel free. I don't care about
okay, so basically, now, at the end of chapter 2, she confronts him. Basically.
Oh, shit. I gotta go.
So now that so basically chapter 2 is just him like saying like, oh shit, I plagiarized, and this is what interesting thing I was gonna talk about. Like I was like, okay, so they're playing it off like, because when they said like, oh, I'm assuming the manga disappeared the first chapter, the first, I think the actual magazine disappeared after a while. I think
it looked like you have like one a week and then they disappear, it seems like.
Yeah, disappear. So he probably was like, oh shit, I was like, it's probably a dream that I had, blah blah blah. Yeah. And then he realizes, oh shit, it wasn't a dream, it was actually a manga. He's like, fuck, I realized. And the way I was going with this was like, oh, is it gonna be like, oh, he thought it was just a dream and he was just doing that? But no, they went the route of he realized, oh shit, and now he has to.
Which makes this not at all a Bakuman type series. Like, it's not going to focus on the manga creation itself. Like I mean, maybe it will a bit, but like really, the man's just copying at this point.
Yeah, and what's crazy is the fact that he's a good guy. Like he's the type of person who's just like, he was like, oh shit, I fucked up, it's my fault. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm just going to make it I'm going to tell my editor that it's going to be a one-shot. Actually, I saw because he goes to the editor, his new editor, he's like, oh, sorry, I can't do this. I can't make I can't, it's just like a one-time thing. I never, because he was smart with it. He's like, I never planned on it making it a full series anyway. One shot, blah, blah, blah. And the editor was like, fuck no, you're crazy. This is good shit. You're doing good work here. It'd be stupid to try to do, and it was crazy because the editor's speech, his new editor's speech was like very good because I'm gonna go back to what he said. Hold on one second. Why don't you guys keep talking? Because I like the way he said.
The writing's definitely really good in this series. One of the first things I look at when I'm reading any series is, do these characters talk like real people, or is it like awkward robot dialogue?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So.
Go ahead, David.
Right,
are you still looking, Thurman, or do you want David to say something?
Yeah, I got it.
Oh.
So he says this. So he says a lot of stuff that's good, but I'm gonna say it right here. He said, then what happens to? All right, see, I'm very grateful to hear you say that, but the truth is, I guess I just don't feel the desire to draw it, right? And then the editor says, then what happens about the hero Kazuma's dream and the heroine Sora hasn't been saved yet? You're just going to leave that promise to his master unfulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
He said, listen to me, Sasaki. These stories, these characters, they're not just empty lies to sell books. They're all alive on the page. They live off paper and ink. They just like we live off food and oxygen, and they breathe within our hearts.
I love that.
And then he shows him all of the fan mail that he got.
Oh.
Right? And then he shows him all the fan mail. He's like, that's right. They're all for White Knight. It's your fan mail. We've never gotten this much fan mail on a debut one-shot from a new artist before, right? So then he says, Sasaki, I don't know what you're really feeling in your heart of hearts, so I'm not going to demand that you give me all you've got, but I have to admit, it just looks to me like you're afraid right now. In the end, you're the one who decides if you'll draw or not. The choice is all yours.
That's great. That's a great. Oh, there's more?
Yeah, and he says, don't forget, we'll be waiting our whole lives for this, waiting for the rest of this wonderful story.
That's phenomenal. Yeah, bro, you can't just read the whole chapter. At some point, let me fucking jump in. Jesus Christ.
Not even though, Chaps. You can go ahead now.
Okay, yeah, I mean
Reeves.
that reminds me of like I've heard authors say that a lot. Like I know Oda has talked about a lot, like how tired he is, but like how he can't leave the story unfinished. You know, like I need to finish it. And I know Togashi feels that same way about Hunter x Hunter. Like And I can imagine as an author like how nerve-wracking it would feel to leave your story unfinished because those characters become like family to you, you know? So
Yeah.
that's cool. I like that.
So because imagine like because he's conflicted because it's just like he's saying I'm sorry I'm just a rip-off artist, right? So my thing is just like I like the way they're going this. He's actually a good guy. He doesn't want to rip off some things, right? Because honestly, I would say like he's not technically completely ripping off some stuff because he did say he was changing some stuff, but he just the fundamentals are still there.
No, it's just still pretty ripping off. Like legally, if you're in a court of law, you'd definitely it'd be a problem.
So and then I know they talked about how it's like a divergent timeline now. So my biggest question is the very
well, it basically has to be because if it wasn't, then he wouldn't be able to get the future chapters anymore.
Yeah. So my biggest question is that okay? So it's manga time right now. Right? It's shonen manga time. So lightning hits the microwave, and now
what the fuck is happening there? And obviously we saw his friend gave him the robot, and he was like weirdly cryptic about the whole like it represents the future.
So okay, because I'm curious.
There's gonna be some crazy twist, like that friend was actually like someone from the future that wanted to help him. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
What do you think, David?
Yeah, it's definitely a possibility we go this person's from the future, or just the robot itself has some sort of like power from whatever backstreet market they got it from.
Backstreet's back. All right.
Because I'm really curious, because now that we know like a lightning hit and now manga from the future, because this is like 20, 30 years into the future, right?
10 years.
Like, this is not
10.
Because he said it was 2020. He said 2040.
2030.
2030.
Oh, this is 30. Okay, so basically, now that we have this,
a decade later manga.
Yeah.
With a whole new. Well, I find it hilarious that they're kind of playing on that like everything gets axed eventually mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a whole new slate of manga.
So it's just like, because it's actually really funny.
It makes sense because 10 years from now, there's no way One Piece would be there. My Hero would most likely. There's no way that'd be. Yeah, like I could believe that. Like I don't see My Hero still going out.
I could believe it in our case, but I find it hilarious that like it's a whole new fucking slate.
There's no way.
Yeah,
like literally, tell me one manga running right now that could still be going in 10 years. Like that.
Funny because I was thinking about that. I was just like, oh, it's 2030. Does that mean like seriously like Black Clover and My Hero still running right
like,
now?
Okay, how many chapters does Black Clover have right now, Thurman?
It's 251.
So 10 years would be that's like 40 a year. So hey Siri, 40 times 10. That's what 400.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then like.
I don't think Black Clover's even last.
Hold on. So 250 and then 300, that'd be like 650 chapters. So
I don't picture Black Clover lasting that long.
Unless he really wants to do a One Piece, which I know you've told me he does apparently.
Yeah, he said he has a lot of stuff in his tank. Like he has knowledge.
650. That's like Bleach length, bro. That'd be...
Honestly, I could picture Hunter x Hunter going still with Togashi's head in a jar, Futurama style.
Nah, bro. Togashi wants to rest.
Yeah, bro. Like, I can see like Black Clover maybe. Like he just said he wanted to be like 600 and something.
Yeah, close are you making that up? Because that seems oddly specific.
Like closely One Piece, Naruto. Well, Naruto was like 600, 700 chapters. So that's what he said.
So Bleach. I mean, that seems to be like the sweet spot because Bleach is also like 600, almost 700.
For like a decent running series.
So honestly, 10 years would be like about when Black Clover probably would end if he's gonna do like the Naruto Bleach shit. Yeah.
Because I don't even think My Hero would last that long. I give My Hero.
In fact, I forgot to say this in our My Hero review, but like Deku does like all for one 45%, and I feel like the percentage that he's mastered is a good indicator of how far through the series we are. And he said like 45%.
Yeah, like I could see it lasting at least like 400 chapters. I mean,
I think we're about halfway through My Hero. If I was to guess.
High ball 500, low ball like 430.
Yeah.
I don't see it being less.
Either way, off
Yeah,
topic.
either way. So like, because that's the joke I was going for. I was just like, wait a minute, what do we know now is still going on in 2030, right? So I'm glad David brought that up because that's actually really funny to think about. Because like,
Thanks, David. This is why I love our dynamic. We all bring up things that we all don't think about, and then that's great.
Yeah.
I love you guys.
Like, keep in mind, right? Like, think about the manga that we have in Jump now. Like, that's like still technically new. Like,
well, like Promise Neverland's probably got 10, 20 chapters max left.
Which we've been saying for years.
Jujutsu Kaisen.
Well, they're in the human world.
All right, no one cares.
They reached their fucking goal, is what I'm saying. How much longer can they
There'll
possibly
be a new
stretch
goal.
it?
There'll be a new goal.
Oh, God. Yeah, if the money talks, money fucking talks. Oh, just kidding. We're not ending our manga. That's another video altogether, though. Anyway. You have Jujutsu Kaisen, Act Age.
Bro, can we talk more about fucking Ghostwriter, please?
And shit like that. So it'll be interesting.
Let's see what would actually still be going.
David, I'm going to need you closer to your mic. I can't hear you.
Act Age would be gone. Jujutsu Kaisen will probably be just wrapping up or has wrapped up in the last couple of years.
But anyway, with this series, though, where do you see it going forward?
Honestly, I want to wait to see if it's not going to get out. Because honestly, I feel like it won't. But to be fair, though, I thought that in the past. And look, Demon's Plan and
that's right.
This is something I definitely see myself continuing to read it. Like, it's very interesting. Like I'm just interested in where it's going to go.
So my biggest point is what I want to know is where does it go from here, right? Because when I first thought about it, when it was like, oh, manga from the future, I was like, oh, so he's gonna basically, because from what I've gathered, they're gonna focus on this White Knight series. But my first initial thought was he's just gonna write a bunch of new series from all the series that's in the current Jump now. That's what I assumed. But from what I'm gathering, I'm assuming it's just gonna focus on him and this author of White Knight. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Like, because honestly, I don't really know where we go from here. Honestly, the first chapter felt like it was the end, right? Like a little bit, right? We're in the arc, right? Like,
I'm glad you bring that up. Yeah, no, I have no idea. Like, this is another one of those premises, and this is how I felt about Undead Unluck. And credit to Undead Unluck, it fucking was able to continue on. But like, there are some manga where it begins, and I'm like, how do you continue this through 5, 10, 15, 20 chapters? You know?
Oh yeah. So when I got pitched the idea for us to cover this by Luke, and then the reason I'm like, well, we've done a million of Luke's videos originally. We'll let somebody else, if we keep getting recommendations for this. And then when Sean was like, well, I kind of want this to, your guys' thoughts on this. I'm thinking, this doesn't really initially interest me. Like, the concept is kind of Bakuman-y, but with future shit. I'm like, I can't picture this lasting.
It definitely feels gimmicky, but it's well done.
A gimmick can be done very well and continue on. But honestly, I don't picture this being super, super long running. I would give it like mid-tier, like Full Metal Alchemist at the most.
Are you ready for a bold claim? Fucking 50 chapters max.
So 5 volumes?
Yep, more like 50 chapters max, potentially 20 chapters.
If that was the case, I think it'd be in another magazine. Honestly, if you're in Weekly Shonen Jump, you're gonna have at least.
You're in it for at least a Full Metal Alchemist.
Well, we'll see then. We'll see.
Because I mean,
also Full Metal Alchemist wasn't in Weekly Shonen Jump, so I don't know. What a weird fucking metaphor.
It wasn't. You're in for that long of a series.
Also, Full Metal Alchemist was a monthly, so it's hard to fucking gauge.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying.
Well, they're all kind of like bundled together here in America now with the official manga app. You got monthly, you got bi-weekly, you got weekly.
Right. Well, either way, I'm just saying, like, this strikes me as, and we've definitely had like the short series like that before. Like I don't know. I don't know. I don't see it lasting, but I could be wrong.
I don't picture it
like
lasting
a shorter series. Like, how long could you really stretch this out? Like, how long was Bakuman again?
Like 147.
How the fuck? I don't even know how they stretched that out.
Bakuman manga series length. There was 20 volumes.
Jesus Christ. How?
So, because that's funny, right? Because if I put it, if I were to essentially
essentially that's Thurman's crutch word. That means he's thinking. He doesn't know how to eat. He doesn't know what to say.
Compare it, right? Because if it was like going to be 50 chapters, I would think I think Jump Shueisha isn't stupid. I think they have different magazines for a reason. Like if they know an author or a series is gonna be shorter length, like maybe 50, like Dead Man Wonderland style, like 80 chapters, 90 chapters. I think they would put it in like their monthly magazine or like their Ultra Jump.
They put in Ultra Jump or
they put it in
Shonen Alpha.
Yeah, they put it in a
something like that.
magazine that it's still technically popular, but people have like shorter attention spans, right? But like if you're in Weekly Shonen Jump, that's their big money maker. So they're not gonna put in a series that's only gonna last like 50.
My guy, they put fucking Chainsaw Man in there, and I don't picture that lasting another 40 chapters.
Like I don't buy it. I could be wrong. I trust me. I'd be happy if I was proven wrong. You know,
I think people are weirdly like, I don't know why people are hanging on to this idea of like long running so much. Like it's not impossible at all for a series.
Yeah,
I'm not really hanging on with it. I just feel like remember, Shueisha is a fucking company, bro. They're all they care about is money. Like,
True, but whatever.
Like if they know if they wouldn't put it in their week if they're one of their most selling magazines.
I can kind of see both of your guys' points here.
Right.
I don't picture that. I really don't picture this lasting long, and I do agree with Red. Like I don't see that this need for a long-running Naruto, One Piece-esque series continuing as we move forward.
Especially with how fast they're moving forward. They already fucking met. Like that's crazy. That'd be like if Light and L met chapter 1, and confronted each other.
I'm not even going on that. We live on an era of like 5-second attention spans. We're like fucking goldfish at this point. As humans, we have been ruined by technology. I really think that people will get tired of series a lot quicker now. So, it definitely this new era of Jump, I picture being more and more short in their runtime, essentially. There I go, Thurmaning. But yeah.
Cause I'm just like,
all you gotta do is smack your lips now, bro.
I get what you're saying, Red. Like I'm not against it.
Oh yeah,
but
no. By the way, I get what you're saying too. Like you're right. I mean, it is weird. Like it just seems like a very odd series to put in Weekly Shonen Jump, their main magazine. Like that is weird.
Because like I guarantee you, like, because we it's history repeats itself. We've talked about playing before how many famous authors in interviews talk about how they wanted to end their series a long time ago, but the editors were like, nope, we can't do that.
I'm held hostage.
We've seen it with
I don't know. Once you get enough clout, you can fucking flip off the editors, though. Like one of my favorite interviews was from Kubo when he ended Bleach. Such a fucking flex, man. When Kubo ended Bleach, they asked him, if you could give one piece of advice to aspiring writers, what would it be? And his choice was, don't listen to your editors.
And it's just and this
man's coming back to do Burn the Witch.
That's a flex.
Even Togashi had it, like Togashi literally ended Yu Hakusho.
He was like, "Fuck you."
Yu Hakusho ending technically, right? So they had the anime had to literally fill in the gap. So we've seen this before. Weekly Shonen Jump is like one of their best-selling magazines. They're not gonna put in a manga that's gonna last 50 chapters. If they did that, I would feel like Ultra Jump.
I don't see what the harm of it is though, because like it's not like where do they lose money there? Like if it ends, then they can immediately replace it.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. But I mean, to be fair though, they axed everything on the fucking sun. So
yeah. But Samurai 8 lasted around that long, and then they just replaced it.
Yeah, it's so hypocritical too. It's just like, oh, we want our best-selling series. We're gonna axe everything that moves. But if it's best-selling, you're not gonna end it until we say you can end it. Like,
that's why.
I mean, it depends on the contract you get, because I mean, I know that some people have that clout. Like, I know that, for example, like if Oda wanted to end his shit, he can end it whenever the fuck he wants to. Same with Togashi. Same with probably Horikoshi at that point. It's a matter of how much clout you have, I think.
Yeah. So this author, like,
to weigh in on you, Thurman, like, that's why we see series like Promised Neverland have its ebbs and flows in quality, because they want this to continue to stay in the magazine because it sells well in volume form. It sells merch,
and he'll want to take time to think about like plan for writing. But so when you're planning for writing, you write a couple fucking low quality, like just nothing happens chapters.
Yeah, and then you have those chapters that are really fucking good because they're actually thought out. Mm-hmm. Because the way it was pitched originally was ending at Gracefield. That's all they had.
Promised Neverland, yeah.
There, so that's where they wanted to end it.
So if they let this author do what he wants to do, I'll be with it because like we said, Jump has been being lenient with their rules lately, but I'm just like
They want that hit.
Yeah,
They want
so
that hit.
if it's a weekly Jump, I literally expect it to at least last like 200 chapters, like
Fucking wild, bro.
Like that's like high end.
You're wrong,
like,
though.
Low end for me, because I mean some of the lows in chapters have ended like 100 and like 21, like 120.
All right, Simon, I want to make a bet with you right now. We're doing it on camera, okay? How long do you think Chainsaw Man's gonna be? Just honest opinion.
I don't know. I
just over under, like pick like over
low, high end 300, low end like 250.
Ooh, okay, are you ready for my fucking? All right. So that's your guess. You think at least 250?
Yeah, at least 250.
Okay.
For low end. For low end.
I'm guessing 150.
I think it's a good
150. That's my guess, and whoever's closer. I don't know. You gotta buy me lunch or something.
All right, I'm down.
All right, cool.
Okay. Well, we all know each other's PayPals at this point, so
No,
honestly,
we gotta make the stakes better, bro. That's boring. You gotta like do some embarrassing shit on the channel.
I'm down with it.
Okay, whoever loses got to twerk on the channel.
That's not embarrassing. I do that when I'm drunk.
Whoever loses.
I can't confirm that.
Whoever loses has to
I
make
have
out.
it in our Google Drive.
Whoever loses has to make out with David. That's the blue-haired one in the middle, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
We are not throwing me into the mix.
How do you feel, David?
How about this? Whoever loses has to make out with a girl of David's choice.
What? That's not a punishment. Oh, but girl, he could choose like a real not good girl.
Yeah, but has to be consensual.
Grab your untested girl, David.
Okay.
Actually, have to be okay with it.
No.
I'll just go grab.
Get yourself a. Oh God. You can't.
I'll go get my black book out of the fucking storage unit.
Oh boy.
So that's funny. But no. Overall, though, all joking aside, though, if we're serious about that, we can be serious about it. But
we'll figure out something. But whoever fucking loses that, but I'm like pretty confident it can't go above 150. But anyway.
Yeah. So I mean,
final thoughts. Final thoughts going forward on this series. Wrapping up.
I'm definitely gonna read it for sure. I'm curious to see where they're meeting already. So Luke basically said that Luke has said that they're gonna be partners and stuff like that. So my only guess, I have a few theories. One, she's gonna be like, how would you do my series? But because truthfully, technically told that only they know that they're being plagiarized, right? And technically speaking, in the real world, she can't say, "Oh, he plagiarized my shit," because first and foremost, there's no proof of that.
Right. Imagine because I imagine now I didn't read the second chapter, but like, where does she live? Like, how far away is she at?
She lives in the boonies, I think.
So like, it's not like they live in the same town or anything, yeah.
No, he lives in Tokyo.
Yeah, so it's like she's just a random 17-year-old. Like how the fuck, like
how do you prove that, right? Like, so
yeah.
he's just because technically speaking, if he really wanted to be a dipshit, everything's in his favor, right? Because they're not going to believe the fact that, oh, I got a manga from fucking Shonen Lightning hit my microwave and now I have manga from the future, right? They're not going to believe that shit. Secondly, he did technically serialize it first, so if anything, he has more rights to say that she plagiarized him, or they can chop it up.
That's true, bro. Unless it depends though. If she's like posted some of her stuff on like some fanficky forum websites.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. If she's done that, then yeah, that's the only thing can go in her favor.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, they've never met each other before. It's a series that because I mean, even then, like I assume like manga editors at Jump look at fan arts too, like fan stuff like that too. Because I think that's how one got found. He was found on like a site.
He was just doing a web comic on some site.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm pretty sure like because the editor said he's been doing manga for 20 years, right? So I'm assuming that would be the case, but there's no really way she can prove that it was plagiarized unless she has like hard evidence. So if anything, it could be interesting to see how they play that off, right? It could be like, oh, she's just jealous, or it was just a huge coincidence that they're writing the same series at the same time.
Yeah.
It happened before, We've seen even in today's Jump that people say series are similar, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I wonder if like and now I haven't read the second chapter, so if this is already confirmed, just tell me. But like, my assumption is that they're going to create like a partnership and essentially.
We don't know yet. It ended off with her meeting him outside.
So my guess is that like they're gonna make some sort of deal. Like he might prove to her that he legit has this time power thing, because it shouldn't be hard unless they pull that like now it isn't working because she's here and she's looking at it. You know what I mean? But like if he can just prove that that's a thing by showing her.
Yeah.
Although the man's got to be careful because how old is he?
24.
And yeah, you don't want to be a 24-year-old caught hanging out with a 17-year-old alone in your apartment.
Yeah.
Although Japan, I don't know, but either way.
I wasn't gonna say it, but you did.
Yeah, but I don't, whatever. But essentially, though, he could prove that, and then at that point, she sees, well, okay, clearly you didn't mean to plagiarize, and maybe we could just both.
Didn't he though? Didn't he?
No,
the man literally thought it. Like, dude, I would think it was a dream. I don't know about you. I would certainly think it was a dream.
I don't think anyone would literally believe that manga from the future would put out of your fucking microwave.
I would definitely think that's a dream. I don't think he did anything wrong.
Because keep in mind, it literally said that he hadn't eaten all day too.
Yeah,
like,
the man pulled like an all-nighter. He hadn't eaten. Like, that's super, super possible.
He pulled an all-nighter. He hadn't eaten. It was literally raining. Like,
I don't know. The one time in my life I pulled an all-nighter and I tried to stay up the whole day, I literally was hearing voices. I'm not even kidding. Like, I was like seeing fucking shit out of the corner of my eye and hearing voices and like whatever. Man. I mean, I was doing it sober. You're probably on like 16 energy drinks and a couple grams of Coke.
Ouch!
Ouch, because I'm right.
In the video!
Yo! My man! Yo! I'm dead! Red came back with the flip. David was like a whole 3. My man Trey went up to 100 real. He's like, yeah, I was sober. I'm like,
that might go down in history as one of my best comebacks of all time.
No joke.
I'm very proud of that.
That
I'm glad there's no
trailer
refuting. No
timestamp
one's
that.
like, no, David wouldn't do that.
If there's anybody on the channel that's done some shit like that, it's me.
oh my god.
Well, do we have any final thoughts before I actually end the video?
Oh my god. That is, someone timestamp that, please.
That channel trailer. That's
Occasionally
the new channel trailer. Fucking timestamp that right now, David.
Okay.
Oh my god.
I'd say that's like in an hour in the video. Roughly, I don't know.
It's 37.
My throat's hurting.
37:30.
37:30.
Just
Got
type
it.
it somewhere and put it on a list somewhere. Go to your notes app.
Time
Paradox 37:30.
Overall, I'm really hyped for this series.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be a fun weekly read.
I hope it subverts my expectations. Like you said, I'm assuming either it's gonna be like a partnership or something like that. So we'll see how it happens. Because I really hope when I see it happening, I said this before, but it's probably just gonna be like, this about her and him and about White Knight, and she's probably gonna help him with the serialization, or like probably black, something like that. Some blackmailing shit. She's gonna let him on today. She's gonna blackmail him or something. Either that, or like, I was really hoping he would just like take multiple series from the Future Jump and put them in the magazine. I really like to see like all the different series that the author created and stuff like that. I think that'd be really cool, but we'll see. I definitely have high hopes for it. I hope it survives the X. So that's a piece for me.
Peace. Or unless you have final thoughts, David.
All I want to say is occasionally we'll come back and visit this chapter the series like every 10 chapters once it's confirmed that it's
interests
continuing.
us and when we feel like it. I'm not gonna give. I'm gonna save us all by not fucking concreting us to a specific date or a set amount of time. Just when we feel like it, when we enjoy one, we want to talk about it.
Kind of like we do with JoJo, just in chunks of chapters, something like that. Until then, peace.
Until then, David, Richard Nixon style. I am not a crook. That's what I was actually expecting you to say.